Hello, I'm Francisca Law, and I hope you caught the first of my 2 videos in this 3-part series. The first was sharing a little bit of my own personal journey and also introducing step 1 and step 2 of the Lotus process, Road to Health, the power of acceptance and surrender and belief and commitment as foundational on the road to recovery. And in the second video, we covered the power of developing our inner resources and our inner strength and our self-care as a powerful ally on the road to healing, and also the power of developing a sense of community and support around us as we heal. Now in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of overcoming blocks to healing. Overcoming inner blocks to healing, and they can take the form of personality traits, unconscious blocks, secondary gains, anything that's hindering us in being able to heal ourselves. So we'll talk a bit more about that soon. I'm also going to talk a bit about the problem of not having a clearly defined path to wellness, and how this 8-step process of the Lotus process, which we started to cover many of the steps in these 3 videos, is a clearly defined path to wellness, and how you can follow this path to wellness in depth with a circle of 12 women coming up soon. So firstly, coming back to overcoming blocks to healing. So for example, this could be like personality traits. For instance, when I was unwell, used to have a pattern of keep the peace at all costs and avoid conflict at all costs, even to my health. So as I was coming towards the end of my recovery journey, I realised how much I'd suppressed anger in my life, and how even still, as I was trying to learn more about taking care of myself, becoming more self-aware, I was really avoiding conflict a lot. And when I avoided conflict and when I avoided confrontation at all costs, my system would shut down. So towards the end of my recovery journey, I learnt the power of being able to be more authentic with my feelings and be able to deal with temporary moments of situations that might have a bit of conflict, because actually a bit of conflict is inevitable in life. So learning to tolerate a bit of conflict, learning to acknowledge that sometimes I felt angry and be able to find healthy ways of expressing that anger was a key for me to be able to heal. Or Sophie, in her road to healing from chronic digestive issues, my colleague at Women's Wellness Circle had a chronic helping tendency, always wanting to help and look after other people, but not looking after herself enough. So in order to fully overcome her chronic health challenges, Sophie had to learn that she needed to help herself and come from a resourceful place before helping others. And actually this was also one of my tendencies as well. I actually back them all. Another one is an achiever, a chronic overachiever. And that will be someone who's maybe really focused on external success and achievement to feel valuable and worthwhile as a human being. So one of my clients come to mind, who was an Oxford graduate, a very high achiever, very intelligent, and was very focused on external success and validation. And through her illness, she had to learn that she was worthwhile as she was as a human being, without any particular level of degree or success in work and business and all of that. So it's about becoming more aware of our patterns. So maybe you recognise one of those patterns yourself, or maybe you recognise more than one of those patterns, as I actually recognise myself in all of those traits. And there are other traits and other blocks that can be there to look at overcoming. And actually to really explore this area in depth, it really helps us to have a community around us, women who are doing the same kind of inner work. When you recognise someone else working on a pattern such as one of these patterns, it can help you recognise and become more self-aware of your own inner patterns and also how to transform them. When you witness someone else have a breakthrough in a particular pattern or in their health, it can inspire you to also make similar breakthroughs yourself and show you what's possible. And it can bring and call your awareness to aspects of yourself that you might not have been so aware of before. And a lot of these traits come from childhood, and they even come from quite difficult or traumatic or difficult situations. So it's also about being very compassionate and tender as we approach this aspect of health recovery. Sometimes we think we need an illness to protect us. It's almost like the body-mind system is so shut down that we feel like we need that illness to protect us from the outside world that is so scary. And if there have been particular traumatic experiences in your past, it makes sense. And even if there hasn't, it can be a build-up of lots of stress or even generational stress and trauma. So these are all areas we will be discussing as part of this upcoming programme I'm going to talk a little bit more about now. So when we're healing from chronic illness, it helps if we have a clearly defined path and steps that we can take to heal and come back to. And of course, it's not really linear. Healing is not linear. I've set up the Lotus process as an 8-step journey, and it's not a linear journey. You might work through the steps in a linear way but then come back to another step, or you might realise you've done some of the steps already and want to jump in more deeply to a later step. It doesn't matter. So the 8-step journey is learning initially step 1 or module 1 of the Lotus process is to accept and surrender to what is, and the power of this to support us in healing, in relaxing our nervous systems, in getting in the best state for healing. Step 2, the power of belief and commitment. We don't just need to accept, we need to believe we can heal, and we need to be able to commit to a path to get there. Step 3 is about, well, how do we do that? You know, we build up our inner resources, we build up our self-care. So building our inner resources and self-care and ways we can do that. Step 4 is about the power of community and support and really harnessing that power for our healing. Step 5 is about overcoming these blocks to healing that can be there so that we can sustain our health again. 6 is about the power of purpose and authenticity and developing our purpose to be well and what is authentically our purpose. Now for me, when I was healing, I felt called that if I could heal myself and help others to do so, then it would be a worthwhile journey. And I'm still feeling called to that purpose today, 10 years after my full recovery. It doesn't mean that your purpose will be similar. It could be, but it could look quite different. It might be, I've seen people make films and write children's books and do all sorts of interesting things post-recovery. So it might look very different. And it's what's authentic to you and who is your authentic self. This step's also about that. Step 7 is about healing our past. That I have mentioned this when I was talking about overcoming blocks to healing, but often there can be situations in the past, there can be traumas that have impacted us. So as part of this longer Lotus process coaching journey, we'll be going deep into this subject. What are the inner traumas that you experienced maybe in your childhood, in your teenage years, that could have been part of why you got unwell? Like for instance, I was severely attacked as a teenager, and I think that was one of the things that led to my system shutting down and being in overwhelm. And what are your specific traumas? And very gently and tenderly, we can look at exploring some of those in one-to-one sessions or in the group context if you feel safe to do so, using emotional freedom technique as a tool to work through specific traumas. In this topic, we also talk about how we can inherit trauma from our family of origin, maybe even generations back, but how we can also start to bring awareness to that and actually start to release ourselves from any burden we're carrying that doesn't even essentially come from us. So we'll be exploring this in depth as part of this 9-month programme. And then step 8 is about not only getting well, but how do we learn to sustain our health? How do we learn to keep up the self-care? Do we keep up our personal development for the rest of our lives to help us live healthy, vibrant, full lives and becoming more and more whole and awake and aware and conscious and free and have better relationships and have a better life in all ways. So that's what the final step is about, to really put you in a good place for the rest of your life. So the reason that it's a 9-month program to health is to give you the optimum chance for you to be fully recovered by the end of the program. Now, of course, I cannot guarantee you will be fully recovered. I'm pretty certain that many of you that join the program will be fully recovered by then. And that actually having that supportive container to go deep into your personal healing with 12 other women who really get what you're going through is a powerful, alchemical and incredible opportunity for you, and to be guided by my own experience of healing chronic illness, 10 years of supporting other people on their path to health, and a few years experience in holding women's circles as a powerful alchemical container for physical healing and health improvements. So I'm really passionate about this, as you can probably tell. This is actually my joy, it's my purpose to be offering this kind of work, and especially for circles of women. It feels so in line with who I am, and I really hope that you feel called to find out more about this in a free half-hour session with me, where I can find out a bit more about your current situation, your needs, and outline a bit more about this program, and find out whether this program is going to be a good fit for you at this time in your life, and also if you're going to be a good fit for this program. And I'm guessing that if you've got to the end of these 3 videos, that you are going to be a woman that would be wonderful to be a part of this program, that you will also give back as a part of being in this program. Many women who've joined my programs in the past have found that they've also really enjoyed being present for other women and supporting other women and being there for other women as they heal, as well as benefiting themselves as well. So if you feel called to find out more, do book in for your free half-hour session with me. There's no obligation to join after that. You know, I love speaking with you anyway. And especially if you feel called to find out more about this 9-month program, please book in. And I look forward to hearing from you and being a part of your journey to full health and finding your gifts, your unique gifts through the illness, and blooming as the lotus flower that I know that you are, the wonderful woman, the incredible woman that I know you are, with incredible gifts to offer back to the world as you heal. So I hope you can join us and be one of these 12 women, and I wish you well.